What's going on, fam? Thank you so much for being here. I just want to talk about this membership that I do and what it is, what I do there, and why it can be useful to you as a user. So there are three main things that I do. I do an electional report every month. I do courses and coursework where you can learn astrology, and I do group intentions as well. So I host the group intention, so everybody can come, all the people who are members can come, and we can sort of begin to push in a particular direction, generally toward growth and thriving in our own lives. We can sort of love each other into a growth and thriving context. So let's talk a little bit deeper about these things. First is the electional report. The electional report is a monthly report that I generate, which is full of auspicious times to begin projects, as well as inauspicious times, during which time it is helpful to wait. I developed this report with the independent, personally sovereign business person in mind. Me. I originally started doing it for myself, which is part of the reason why I know that it's very valuable. Not because I'm trying to sell it to other people, but because I made it so that I can use it. What I do is I use the principles of traditional astrology to find good times to launch things. If you've been watching my dailies or my weeklies, then you know that what I do is I always look at the sky and then I try to find a kind of resonance. I want to know, what would today be good for? Or what, how, based on today's sky configuration, how can I best match my actions to that, right? And so if we think ahead a little bit, then we can see some of the skies that are coming and be like, okay, well, I have a business that I want to launch, for example, or I have a date that I want to go on, or I want to, it's not that far, I want to text somebody cute, or I want to send an important email of being vulnerable and emotional, or I want to send a resume out or something like this, right? I've got something that I want to do, and so I can look forward into the future and see if I can find a time that would resonate with that best, in order that I can use the timing as a force multiplier. Basically, it can make what I am already doing just that much more potent and possible. So, and this is also, it's very, very helpful also to know what times not to launch, what times not to try to do your things. If you can avoid times when there's an eclipse and it's square to Saturn or whatever, right? Like difficult times that'll bring challenges and obstacles, then you can do a better job. You can get fewer challenges and obstacles along the path. There are plenty of challenges and obstacles in this historical moment. So how can we minimize those while maximizing the output or the sort of productivity that we can offer? Or just maximize the good things that we like. And so I make a report full of times that are good to launch, as well as times that are bad to launch. So, and I made that with the sort of regular person in mind. It goes through every day, and there are times every day, or there's a sort of stop sign that's like, maybe don't launch on this day. I find it to be a very useful and readable document. A lot of people are over the moon about it. I've been using this and giving it to people, the homies to review and this kind of thing, and people seem to like it. So I find this to be the single most valuable thing that I do. The other thing, I guess maybe the dailies are pretty valuable too. Anyway, whatever. Next, the other thing that I do is coursework. So I do, already I've developed an Astro Basics course, as well as a Desire and Metaphysics course. There's an electional report or an electional course coming soon. The principles of electional astrology can get a little technical sometimes. And so I don't necessarily need you to understand all of astrology. I don't need you to be a super strong astrologer, like a reading consulting astrologer or anything like that. These courses are not going to turn you into a consulting astrologer the way that Austin Coppock or Kelly Surtees or Chris Warnock or some of these people are going to get into the like nitty gritty, the really detailed stuff like that. I'm not going to go into all that. I'm going to show you some Astro Basics so that you can understand what I'm talking about, or you can understand what's going on with the other YouTube astrologers that you're looking at and these kinds of things. If you want to do your elections, or if you want to change, the elections that I give, are for my location. And so your location is likely different than my location. And so you'll have to do a little bit of changes and look at the chart and see, make sure that it's all still good and that sort of stuff. You don't necessarily need to go into the depth of it, but it's helpful to be able to look at a chart and just know what you're looking at, know where the horizon is, how this chart relates to the sky that we actually sit under, the sky that we actually gaze upon. How are these things related? I go into these kind of basic nitty-gritty details. It doesn't get too technical, but there's enough there to get you going. There's also a Desire and Metaphysics course which is sort of aimed at looking inside ourselves and figuring out what it is that we actually want, and then doing what we can to push toward that. What are some techniques that we can use? What is this world made of? And how can we use whatever this world is made of to move toward the more beautiful world that our hearts know is possible, right? And so there's a whole course about how to do that. Then the third thing that I do is group intentions. One of the techniques that I use regularly is called Power of 8 Intentions. This comes from Lynn McTaggart's work. I've used the first time that I heard it, I learned it from Rune Soup, Gordon White and Rune Soup and the homies there. What we do is we get together and we do an intention. We basically just love each other. We have loving, heartfelt, like ooh feelings toward each other on a video chat for a period of 10 minutes. Toward a particular person usually, and then that person will get better in whatever way. A lot of times there'll be like health concerns, or somebody needs a better job or more money or whatever it is, you know what I mean? Better housing, that one's super common also. So we can actually have pretty amazing, miraculous results by simply sitting and thinking nice thoughts about each other. It's really amazing. I had an uncle who we did some intention work for him for a while. He had prostate cancer, and prostate cancer, for those who don't know, typically kills people in the space, it's super quick. It's like from 3 to 6 weeks usually, from diagnosis to the end of this person's life. We ended up getting him another 20 months. So it ultimately, that was the end for him. But we did get a much longer period of time, during which time we could work on some further things and do all our goodbyes and all that. I saw him like 4 more times in that space of time, rather than I had been in New York and he didn't live in New York. And so if it had been the 3 to 6 weeks, he would have just died, and that would have just been that, right? So we had got some real fancy miracle stuff that way. And that doesn't even include the silly stuff. I've gotten new shoes this way. I've gotten passionate kisses this way. That one was really fun and turned into a whole mess. But, this is the kind of life that I'm trying to live. I'm trying to live a life that is very sensational and that is full of stories to tell and this kind of thing. These intention exercises work really well for making stuff happen. And so in this historical moment, I find it very useful for us to come together as a community of like-minded weirdos to work toward the more beautiful world that our hearts know is possible. And so I host that situation so we can do that on the regular. So that is what this membership is. It is very much about looking inside ourselves and trying to build the more beautiful world that our hearts know is possible, using timing as a force multiplier to give us stronger and better results than we could have imagined, and to do the group intentions together to build and foster community so that we can know each other, so that we can get involved in each other's lives and help each other to heal and all these kinds of things. So that is what this membership is here to do. That is what we are doing. The courses are ongoing. I continue to make new stuff there as I think with things and as I sort of move through all of the things that I move through. I learn stuff, I take that knowledge and distill it into some kind of something and put that so that it's continuously going on. The monthly reports are continuous, the group reports or the group intentions are continuous. So it's ongoing all the time. I would love to see you inside there. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. This is way longer than I meant it to be, but I think that this is a very good recap of what I actually do, and I would love to see you inside in that group intention situation. That is really where I get to make like FaceTime, that make contact with people. You know what I mean? Because I know a lot of you from readings or from the comment section or something like that, but to like have some time where it's not work necessarily, but we just like get to hang out together as part of the community. Folks can be like, oh, I saw your election for this and I was thinking about using it for this. What do you think about that? Or like all of this like Q&A sort of stuff and this sort of thing. All of that is part of that event, and I really love it. I really love being able to get to know everyone in this community, and it just really feels like a nice like family together sort of situation. So that's enough of that. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I look forward to seeing you inside.